From your local election headquarters, here's Fred Childers with This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Heck. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. The Louisiana House of Representatives passed the bill that would call the legislature into a constitutional convention. While there have been amendments saying what the lawmakers do not want to change, a lot of things are still on the table. I was at the Capitol earlier this week to catch the debate. The House of Representatives voted to advance the bill that lays the groundwork for the proposed constitutional convention. But there were a lot of amendments looking for carve-outs to protect certain parts of the Constitution. Governor Jeff Landry watched over the House proceedings, calling members who have been publicly skeptical of the Constitutional Convention. The bill sponsor offered an amendment to set up committees over the summer for the public to testify about the proposed changes, and the full convention will meet in August to vote.
But it would also have the committee being able to do some of that heavy lifting during the summer, stretching out the time that we could take public input. And I think this is something that has been popular when we've been vetting it with you all.
Lawmakers are still uncertain of how the voting process will work. The leadership has framed the convention as a reworking of the Constitution rather than a rewrite. They want to move parts of the protected sections of the Constitution into statute so that the legislature can make changes without having to put it to a vote of the people.
The recent poll that came out shows that only 1% of Louisiana's population believe that this is a top priority. And of those who took an issue on the poll, on the Constitution, 29% were against the Constitutional Convention, 27% were for, and I guess the other 44% really didn't even matter to them.
There have been amendments to say the convention won't touch things like the homestead exemption or the K-12 funding formula. But some lawmakers say that the original bill can be ignored once the convention is in action, which is said to be what happened in the 70s. There's still a lot of questions about how this bill will fare over on the Senate. At the Capitol for your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht. And lawmakers have extra money to spend this year, and the question is, where will it go? The Revenue Estimating Conference analyzes the tax streams to predict how much the state will bring in. For the current year budget, which lawmakers are in the process of debating now, there is currently $200 million extra dollars. The Commissioner of Administration says there hasn't been enough talks about using the funds for early childhood education or teacher pay stipends.
Current year expenditure limit, the fiscal office is showing that we have approximately $86 million in capacity. So with both of these forecasts, it would require an adjustment to the current year expenditure limit to be able to expend those monies.
The commissioner says his office has not made the recommendation to bust the spending cap as of right now, and the leftover funds can be put into savings accounts for future use. A number of early childhood education advocates are pushing for that funding to be placed back into the budget to get kids in seats. A portion of the early ed funding was taken out of the budget to help fill gaps in the K-12 funding. The military and law enforcement officials talked about the link between getting kids quality education at a young age and preventing crime. The advocates also push for adequate pay for teachers so quality educators are being hired and kept in the state.